I have never felt more defeated in my life, like in my entire life. You know, the government might have shut down, but my duties as a mother has not. I truly don't know how much longer I could take of this. It truly is just so discouraging getting your education, making sure you aren't in any trouble with the law in any way, shape, or form. You know, being a good civilian and making sure that you pay your taxes and that you just do everything the right way. Literally, it doesn't matter. And this going on now is proof of that. Here's my protection for being a federal employee. It's like everyone wants you to play this waiting game. It's wait for the help and wait for things to finally settle down and there's no longer shut down and possibly receive back pay, but then you might not. I really just had to vent. I know I'm not alone. I know there are a million other people that have been furloughed just like me. If anyone also has any advice, if you have kind words, do not hesitate to share that with me. I am just going to try my best to stay positive and look for alternatives and resources and guidance, honestly. But I'm gonna try my hardest to be positive, y'all. I'm trying. I'm trying not to let the enemy win. You know, I am just praying for a rainbow after this storm.
I went on to my banking app, and the first thing that popped up, I actually typed it in on my computer because I had to send out a bunch of payments the day before yesterday. And I went onto the banking app, and the first thing that popped up when I went onto the banking app is if you are a furloughed employee or you're affected by the government shutdown or whatever it is, and we can help or whatever. And so basically what I found is that there's a lot of people that's doing what UAW members were offered during the time that they were striking for a new contract. And that is, they are basically offering them bridge loans, low interest or no interest bridge loans, as long as you obviously can verify that you are a furloughed worker, because you are expected to get back pay, and then you're going to have to pay that back because it's a lot of people that are living paycheck to paycheck. And that does not excuse the federal government, because I think that they are holding people hostage and they're leveraging this in order to get $1.5 trillion for this healthcare to subsidize these states that can't manage their budgets correctly. And that's one of the reasons why they're going balls to the walls for it. These Democrat-led cities and states are going balls to the wall because they know that they don't know how to manage their way out of a brown paper bag. And so it's the government workers that are suffering for it, and that's not fair. It's not right. And so two things is true. Two things can be true at the same time. Government workers and employees are going to suffer because your politicians and your Democrats are not going to do the right thing. That's A. And it's going to hurt people even worse than ever before because B, this is a second point, they were not prepared. And I think that either you have to change the way you do things, lower your lifestyle, start putting yourself in a position to where you expect for these type of things to happen, and always be prepared for anything, because it's basically revealing and highlighting and exposing the fact that most people are truly living paycheck to paycheck. And then B, I would probably be looking to get a more stable position or some additional finances and resources coming in somehow long term, so that you don't have to depend on them in order for you to be able to feed yourselves and your family.
I'm an accepted furlough employee. I know y'all know that by now. There's a lot of things I can't talk about. I can't have an opinion on. I can't talk about it on social media, and I wouldn't talk about it on social media. I'll keep my own personal opinions to myself when it comes to this government shutdown and government period. I am not going to talk about it on my platform, but I will say is that there's some bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Not knowing how you're going to recover from something like this is very, very stressful. I'm not going to take out any loans because that's just going to put me further in debt. And I find that it's just unnecessary. But the stress of it is what weighs you down. and makes you feel helpless.
Honestly, y'all, you want my honest opinion? I know you do. That's why you watching me right now. My honest opinion is that I think that all of these women, um, they should have a man. They should have a man. And if some of these women had a man, they wouldn't be in the positions that they're in, worrying about it. They would just be living carefree. Some of them will probably wouldn't even be working. And listen, I'm not saying that you have to have a man. I'm saying that you should have a man, and that way you don't have to worry as much about your circumstances or be as stressed. Because, in my opinion, women should not be this stressed. They should not be in a position to where they're worried about whether or not they're going to get a paycheck or when they're going to get a paycheck because they are furloughed, which means that, um, you know, they waiting so that they can get themselves together. And it's a lot of people that's actually getting laid off and they're not going to be coming back to work. That's the crazy part.
That is annoying.
Something else I want to point out, that some people just don't seem to realize, when they say things like, oh, you'll get paid, you'll get back pay. Yes, we will get back paid. Thank you. Thank you for pointing out the obvious. Here's the thing, though. Our bills are due now. And if we don't pay our bills now, say they go into a 30 days where they're not paid, a 60 days where they're not paid, whatever the case may be, we all have clearances. Every single one of us has a type of clearance. I have a secret. A lot of people have top secret. Some people just have a basic clearance, but whatever clearance you have when you work for the government goes through your financial history. Why does it go through your financial history? Because they want to know that you can be financially responsible so that you're not going to go sell secrets to another country for money.
Here's the thing about furloughed employees, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is my understanding of it. Essential workers or essential employees are still required to work, they just don't get pay. Furloughed employees, basically what y'all are is y'all are on a vacation because according to the laws that was passed, I believe back in 2019, 2020, is that furloughed employees are not allowed to work, but they're not allowed to get unemployment, which is one of the reasons that they get back pay. So essentially, in my opinion, I think that they're proving that you guys are not essential, which also gives validation to eliminate y'all positions in the future. Man, listen, I would be very, 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 very much on top of the idea of diversifying my skill set and putting myself in a position to get a different position because honestly, I think that this is exposing the fact that the longer that this government shutdown goes on, the longer that they realize that they really don't need some of y'all, a lot of y'all, honestly. And I know that the conversation is supposed to be about how y'all struggling and stuff like that, but essential workers are needed. Furloughed employees, maybe some of y'all are needed, maybe some of y'all aren't, but y'all are going to be getting y'all back pay even though y'all haven't done no work, which actually shows that the government is wasting money.
You can't pay your bills. So when we have things dinged on our credit, that could potentially ruin our ability to keep our clearances. I have to have a top secret, or I have to have a secret to do my job, okay? Because I deal with a lot of personal information. So if I don't pay my bills, I'm not going to keep my secret clearance because, for example, they check it every 5 years. I'm about at my 5 year. Okay. So when they do that run again, if I have a bunch of bills that haven't been paid, it doesn't matter what it's for. Hopefully I would get an understanding person who said, oh, well, we understand we were under furlough during that time and you couldn't pay your bills and that's been explained and you've caught them up. But what if you get that one person who's not an investigator that's going to take that response and they're going to say, well, we understand why you didn't pay your bills, but you still didn't pay them. So we're going to revoke your clearance. You know what happens in that case? I lose my job. I love my job. I want to keep my job. So me not being able to pay my bills because my government's not open and they're not paying me, it has other.
But what are y'all doing while y'all furloughed? That's what I'm trying to understand. Because see, this would be an opportunity for me.
Effects. It has ripple effects that bleed into other areas that you're not even realizing. So please stop it with the, you'll get back pay. Yes, we know we'll get back paid. We're not worried about that. We're worried about our clearances. We're worried about our bills now. Yeah. We're worried about our health insurance. We're worried about our life insurance. All these things that we have.
Yeah, let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later.